Hello friends. In this review I talk about the BetaFPV 75X micro quadcopter, and I've had it over a month now, so I'm going to show you some videos of me test flying it through different circumstances and then put it on the bench and just kind of open it up and talk briefly about what's inside and the batteries that I use, etc, etc. If you're new to my channel, I put out a new video every Sunday, and sometimes if the RC week is very plentiful, then I'll put out a second video during the week. Thank you for subscribing, and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so to check out my new video, and let's get started. Okay, here's what's inside the box. Comes with an extra set of props, 4 props, an extra canopy, and the quad. Little business card as far as the manual. You can scan this and then like them on Facebook group. Alright, so I got the version that is bind and fly. It comes with a FrSky receiver, the XM Plus. So when I got mine, the antenna wires were actually coming out the battery lead side. And if you'll notice, right there is a micro USB cable. So when you want to plug in your micro USB cable to connect to Betaflight on your computer, you would have to kind of dodge around the wires. So what I did is I carefully pulled out the receiver, and you have these 3 wires here, the ground, plus, and signal. So I just flipped it around so the antennas came out the other side. And then I just routed the cable around each side and used a little bit of hot glue to hold it down. I just kind of did a light thin bleed and smushed it together to keep the antenna protected. So when you're flying, your antennas are on the back side and they're being protected from if you smash into something. Alright, so while we're on the top side, there's been a lot of people talked about the high degree angle of camera. So right there is your camera angle, and as you can see, it's at least 30 degrees, if it's not almost 40 degrees camera up tilt. And people were saying that that's almost too high to fly indoors. Myself, I actually don't mind it at all, because with the lens, it's keeps the lens, the props out of the lens, and you can actually just fly faster, and I don't really mind it being that high. There are other people that have taken off this canopy and printed other canopies to change the angle of the camera to lessen it. So the antenna coming out the back for video, the VTX antenna, has just a couple posts that it rests in right here. So far it hasn't been a problem, you know, crashing, having it come over and touching the things. I suppose you could do some hot glue or a tiny zip tie to hold it in place. So when plugging in batteries, it does come with the BetaFPV battery, 350 milliamp. The first quad, I actually own two of these. The first one it came with a 300 milliamp, and actually it was a bad battery from the factory because it was not balanced. There was 0.3 volts difference between the two different cells. I did try to balance one cell to bring it up higher to equal to the other one, and then flew it a couple times, but it just continually got much worse. So I don't use that battery anymore. Alright, so with the battery, personally I like to put the battery in and have the XT30 connectors on the opposite ends. So when you plug it in, it keeps the connector nice and tight and also prohibits the battery from ejecting. The balance lead, you could just tuck it in, keep that out of the way as well. So talking about batteries, this is the battery that comes with it, the BetaFPV 350. It's a 35C70C discharge 2S LiPo. So it's a good battery. The 350 lasts a little bit longer than the alternate ones that I bought. So I also bought these from Hobby King, the Turnigy Nanotech 300 milliamp 2S 35 to 70C batteries. I will let you know that there are some of them that out there that look similar to this that you can buy, but make sure that it has the discharge lead and the balance lead. Some of them that look very similar to this only have a balance lead connector like this, which actually is the discharge lead for a different type of aircraft. So if you're going to get this one, you can see the size difference. This is a 300, this is 350. So in height and width, they're basically about the same size. In length, obviously, the 350 is a lot larger. Another version that I have is the Tattoo. It's the 300 milliamp. And you can see, hopefully, it's a little more puffy. Normally I think Tattoo batteries are really good, so I don't know if this is a batch that's been not quite as good of a line. But the other thing I don't like about this Tattoo battery, it does fit. It's a little snug. Here it is compared to the Nanotech. It's basically the same size, but in width-wise, obviously now it's puffed, so it's a little bigger. But in width-wise, it's just maybe a half a millimeter larger than the Tattoo or the Turnigy. But look how long the balance lead is compared to the discharge lead. So one of the things when you're plugging it in, you have to do a lot of wrapping with this balance lead to get it kind of hidden. Another thing is that the discharge lead comes with the red JST connector, and the BetaFPV comes with the XT30 connector. So I had to snip off the battery leads and then solder on my own XT30s. So, of all three of these batteries, I personally don't like the Tattoo as much. It seems like it has, maybe 20 flights or more. It's starting to puff a little bit, and it doesn't seem to last as long as the Turnigy Nanotech and the BetaFPV. This is the one I've been flying for over a month now, and this is the newest one I got. And you can see that other than the props being a little bit of damage, it's really held up quite well. So as you can see, what has happened is when I've crashed, you laying upside down, and you can do turtle mode, where you actually can disarm, flip a switch, it will reverse the ESCs, arm again, but it won't spin the props up, but then you have to blip like your pitch or your roll, and what it'll do is it'll flip it over. So when it's upside down like that, it's best to try to figure out which one's props are down. So in this case, there's the camera, and the backside props are down. So what you want to do is probably not blip the back props, but blip the front props, and hopefully what it'll do is just flip it over. So if you do need to change the props, a friend showed me this. What you need to do is come in from the bottom side and pinch the motor, and then just barely rock it back and forth. And there you go. So I've got a little bit of fibers in there. And you can see that this prop here actually is bent a little bit. So I need to go ahead and repair that, replace it. So the prop direction on this is different than the normal 5-inch quads. The blades will actually spin outwards like this, and what that actually does is it kind of helps with the air drift as you're flying slow and bouncing off objects and so forth. You can see that these magnets are really strong as I barely just move this, kind of cogs like that. So let's go ahead and take the canopy off. So here's what you have inside. This is the TPU plastic mounted cage that comes in there that holds the camera, and it's also connected to the VTX. So changing channels on it is quite easy. It's got smart audio, so you can change the channels and the power and what you see on screen displays all within your menu on your radio. So it's a nice little stack. The antenna seems to be stays on there quite well. Not a whole lot to it. If you need to change your motor out, you have these connections and you can just pop that off, put the next motor on. So all in all, this is a really fun quadcopter to fly. Oh, and one other thing I noticed there is that it has a little bracket in the back, so you can actually buy or make a LED strip and then wire it in there. Not as talented as that, so I'm not going to choose to do that, but I have seen a limited edition one. It's more of a black marbled canopy, and it came with the LED lights here, so you can have some racing lights. It's kind of fun. So it's a great quadcopter. I would highly recommend it. If you want to have some indoor fun or outdoors, it does fly in 3 modes. You can do angle mode, horizon mode. In horizon mode, you have the ability for it to automatically come back to center when you let go of the sticks, but you can also do flips and rolls with it in horizon mode. Or you can even fly in acro. So there you go. BetaFPV 75X 2S brushless quad. Hello everyone. I just wanted to give you a little bonus content. I was watching another YouTube channel and they were talking about this Whoop app, and it's available for Android and iOS. So it's called Whoop Labs. It's only $1. Definitely worth it. So what happens is when you launch it, you can set how long you want to fly, your session time. You know, I've got mine set for 3 minutes, or you can do 4 or whatever. You know, pick your battery length time. Then you have a start delay, so once you hit start, it's how many seconds before it starts the countdown. Probably 5 seconds is good enough to put my goggles on and then get ready to arm it. The minimum lap time is once you're doing your course. If you come across the start-finish line, which in this case is your phone, prematurely less than 5 seconds, then it doesn't count that as a full lap. The rear camera would be if for some reason you wanted to operate it in this fashion and then have it use the rear camera to actually sense your Whoop or your little mini micro drone going across. It actually uses your camera, so you'll have to give this app camera access. Voice is just like the voice countdown, and then you can turn on and off the lap information like that, and then you can change the sensitivity. So you basically just hit start.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready.
And then as your quadcopter goes across, and then you're flying around your track, and all of a sudden it comes across again.
Lap 1. 5.901 seconds.
And you're doing another lap. Comes around again.
Lap 2. 8.898 seconds. 2.997 seconds over previous lap.
That's pretty cool.
Lap 3. 9.229 seconds. Lap 4. 7.466 seconds. 1.762 seconds under previous lap.
There you go, and then you can hit laps, and then it shows you all the laps that you've done, or you can go back to your settings and it'll show you that. So that's pretty cool. For $1, it's definitely good to have a little course inside your house, and then put this as your start finish, and you can time yourself.